What do you think is the biggest mistake real estate investors make when doing taxes?
I think they do a horrible job, I think real estate investors, of the upfront work. And I think investors, when they get into the space, whether you're a wholesaler or a flipper, is you don't want to spend a lot of money on the tax planning and getting good advice on entity structure, setup, having good plans for tax deferral savings through cost segregation, through some of the depreciation tools, and then using those entities eventually to 1031 and making sure you know what kind of property you're putting into an entity, and either by yourself or through a partnership, and how you're going to dispose that property eventually later, because there's a lot of unintended consequences of putting a property in an entity and then being able to 1031 that down the road. Might pose problems. So the upfront stuff, I think, is crucial.
It is. Yeah. And I hit that barrier when I first started. So that's a good question. You have wealth planning and you have your taxes.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And I didn't know that. And I remember the guy that wrote the Robert Kiyosaki book, Wheelwright, was it?
Yeah, Tom Wheelwright.
Yeah. Great at what he does. And I called and I was like, I want a wealth plan. You know what I mean? And he's like, 20 grand. I was like, in my head, I was like,
no way.
Hey, I'm going to talk to my accountant and do some research, But that's a very good point, man. If you can get in that planning up front, it's huge, because your accountant doesn't always, even if they're in the real estate, they're not always strategizing and giving you all the best.
Yeah, and they've got too many clients. The average CPA will have 300 to 500 clients on deck. And if you guys can imagine, they all hit at the same time. Right. For the most part, outside of extensions, like all of their business is done, during that February to April timeframe, and they just don't have time to sit down and tax plan. So, I'll be tax planning in November. I'll sit down for an hour or two, and we'll just strategize. Do I need to buy a property and cost seg it? How am I gonna, defer some of these taxes I have to pay?
Our a CPA here at Azreia, our business associate, Ignatius, he did a tax planning class a couple weeks ago.
He's amazing.
Yeah, man.
We did a class together, and he's just fantastic. Sharp guy.
He is. And look out, give him a call or look out for we have the training class. I think we're putting it online. He just goes over all that stuff that you might not know we put it together so you could ask your CPA this stuff in advance and try to get stuff done if you don't have a wealth plan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's the one step. And I think, the other thing, I think investors get caught up in the flip game too, where you're just making money and flip. And I think the other strategy is long-term stuff. Long-term hold, using cost segregation as a tool to defer taxes. And then of course, 1031 as you build up your door count, whether transitioning from a single family residence to multifamily, doing stuff like that,